Sergei Gulko is a Ukrainian student who was studying medicine in the Moscow State University. I know it well. I was supposed to do a series of lectures there on theology, and at the very last minute, it didn't take place because, or really because of the war, and I didn't go back. I think it was actually because of COVID. So there was a delay, and then there was the war, and so I know this place, and I remember going round it a few times and planning these lectures. And Gulko had come from Odessa to Russia in 2016. He enrolled at the Moscow State University's medical school, and he was aware of the tensions in Donbass and of the Prigozhin-led paramilitary activity there. But he said that he was well treated in Russia, and he didn't have any problems with the Russian students there. Well, of course he didn't, because so many students in Russia have Ukrainians as part of their family, and it's very difficult to tell, to draw a distinction between Ukraine and Russia. This is what makes this such a ridiculous conflict. So when when Putin invaded Ukraine in 2022, Gulko had just returned to Moscow from Odessa, and his sister called him early on the morning of February the 24th with anxiety, and he thought, well, first of all, he was stunned, and then he thought he has to continue with his studies because he was one of the best students in his class, and he'd posted a few negative things on his Instagram and his private account. He was angry, but he posted things about the authorities. That was it. And he decided he would finish his degree. He wanted to earn his diploma, get a decent education, become a doctor. And when he wasn't in class, he was interning in hospital, taking part in medical Olympiads. And he, for nearly 2 years, he was able to avoid any trouble. And then he got a telegram message from a friend telling him that some of his classmates had screenshot his anti-war protests at the beginning of the war, and they were planning to report him. And he says that he probably should have left Russia at that point, but he didn't. And on April the 3rd this year, when he was returning from a shift in the hospital, helping ordinary Russians to recover from illness, performing surgery on ordinary Russians, he was arrested by the police, who took him into custody, said they needed a separate room where they could talk to him, and the officers were told, well, sure, fine, have the room, but clean up after you. So suggesting that he was going to be tortured. And he asked for a lawyer. He pleaded Article 51, which is the right to avoid self-incrimination. And he was told he couldn't have a lawyer. And he was taken to a district court the following morning, sentenced with, charged with resisting the authorities during his arrest, which seems not to be true. He was given 12 days sentence. He was, on the day he was released, he was then taken by the police and given another sentence. And then it seems that there was an intervention by really one of the last people you would expect, by Putin's daughter, who's the sub-dean of the university. I must say I didn't know this. And it seems he was he was then able to escape. He was free by the personal intervention of the sub-dean. He's not sure whether this is entirely true, but some of his friends reached out to Maria Vorontsova, and she pleaded for leniency, which may have been effective. And he says he's not sure because all the police had were screenshots. They didn't have any evidence of any concrete actions on his part, and he feels lucky to have escaped further prosecution. He is now in a safe place. He's escaped Russia, and this is really sad because, of course, what Russia has lost is a very competent, very able, and very committed doctor. And, what more can one say?